today on the business or the meeting minutes from the previous meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes.
I'll second that. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
2-0. Jared, right to you.
So just some old business, give you a couple updates on some projects on the Carl Helms tile replacement. And this is not just the tile replacement. That tile, I think I had reported back to you guys a few weeks ago that there was a root problem that we had discovered in the main tile. Had contacted you guys individually about getting a contractor to get those roots out. Cooley Contracting had been up here at one point. They were in the area, had another job, truck broke down, ended up, they came back last Tuesday, once again, had another job in the area, so they were up here for part of the day. Originally, we thought there was maybe 20 or 30 foot of roots. It was more like 100 plus foot of roots in that tile. So they worked on it Tuesday, and then Blake and I had a discussion that at the end of that time, they'd kind of gotten through it all, but not very good. So they did come back on Wednesday, spent the better part of the entire day on Wednesday. Did get it opened up, got a lot of the roots out of it, but it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it'll buy us some time, I guess, until we figure out what's the next step, I guess, with the Helms tile and the city taking that jurisdiction of that tile and all that. We did have a meeting with the mayor late that afternoon on Wednesday. It sounds like they are still agreeable to entertaining taking it over. He didn't say that, oh yes, we're going to. He didn't say, no, we're not. I think they're still doing a little bit of their own due diligence with their department heads, with everything to see what they're taking on.
Best case scenario is to get somebody in the tile to see what they're getting.
Yeah.
But that's not really feasible
So-
at this juncture, so.
So anyway, I think that is still slowly moving forward, but still a possibility that the city is going to take it over. If not, then we'll have to,
Jeff says he doesn't see the invite.
there, he's on now.
Beautiful. Got it.
So anyway, have basically 2 full days of them jetting that tile out, and it's open for now. Hopefully it will last the winter and into the spring of being able to flow water like it's supposed to, or nearly like it's supposed to. And then I did also talk with Rod Jennis, I think it was Tuesday last week, Monday or Tuesday, I talked to him, and don't really have a timeline yet on the other replacement. That may go into the beginning of 2026. It just depends on when it kind of fills out timeline for their project out there at Almco. So on the Pace McLean tile, or excuse me, Pace McLean open ditch, this is out just north of Petroleum. There were several areas that we repaired. Actually 2 different contractors working in 2 different areas of that. Mainly, let me think, basically where County Road 800 would go through, if it went through that mile. Did about a 3/4 of a mile or a mile of just some erosion repairs on it. And then another contractor, we worked between State Road 218 and 650 South. There was probably about 3/4 of a mile there that we did some work on, either dipping out parts of it or fixing where the curves and everything were eroded pretty bad. Had a couple of washouts going down into the ditch. So that's done. On the Carnes open drain, we are dipping out just about the upper half end of that drain. It's not a real long ditch that we're just dipping out kind of selectively in pieces of it. 2020, I believe, we dipped the lower half of that ditch out. It gets really, really deep on the lower half of it. And so that part of the project was done with a long reach. The upper end is shallow enough that you can reach it with a standard excavator. So that's being done right now. Don't have any update on the BF Kane or the Craven tile, either one. unless you have an update, Mr. Attorney, from NIPSCO on the Craven. Okay, so
No update.
no update on that.
Yeah, haven't been contacted.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard anything either, so. So with,
I was just trying to, if there's any other suggestion about how to communicate. Okay. We had a revised easement encroachment agreement. I don't believe that that was recorded. It shouldn't have been.
right,
So without that encroachment agreement being recorded, I don't know that they can do the work. So at some point, it's going to be incumbent upon them to.
the work was an after the fact
Oh, was it? Okay.
permit, so yeah. The work had already been done,
Okay.
so we're kind of at a standstill, I guess, of
Without an
maybe
easement,
with the next, if there's another project, that maybe that's what will,
I don't
prompt
want to
that.
trap anybody, but without an easement, they've taken on that work at their own risk.
yeah, exactly. So, and with that, for new business, and I believe we have a gentleman here, if you would, please come up to the table up here. Mr. Milholland, he wanted to bring some things to the board about a private drain that's in Jefferson Township.
You got a map there, okay?
I do.
My goal here is to try to recoup or reclaim some farm ground that this waterway has leached into over the years. If you look at the right-hand end of that, you see that waterway running from north to south down to the old railroad property. And that has claimed quite a bit of farm ground. I do not have a measurement. I don't know how many acres or whatever it is, because I really haven't measured it. I just know that it's encroaching on the farm ground. On that part too, the back a few years ago,
Mr. Mulholland, if you wanted to come forward to make sure the commissioners and the members of the Drainage Board know what you're talking about in the picture, that might be helpful. And I apologize, gentlemen, if you've already
And I-
figured out what that is.
And I'm actually,
We got it.
and I'm actually sending a picture to Jeff, who's online, so that he knows what we're talking about.
Right
It's-
here?
it's from here down to here, yes.
Okay.
And it's encroached out in the farm ground. I mean, this
It looks like
should
it
have,
comes this way, and then it looks like it goes this way to come back this way.
well, this is all like a waterway through here. But it's all grown up. It should have been taken care of 30 years ago. And I went through this 30 years ago with the Drainage Board.
Before this?
Yes.
Before us?
Well,
yeah.
even before Woodard and those guys, yeah.
Okay.
Lynn Shutt, who is no longer with us, his parents owned this ground down here. My proposal was I went to Lynn Shutt and to get an open ditch from the Norwell Road to the Meridian Road. And he told me to go ahead. So I went to the Drainage Board. And they listened to my proposal, and they said, go ahead, hire a lawyer, who's Ned Kernall was my lawyer,
At the time.
and go ahead and write up the proposal, which I did. And I took it to Lynn's mother and stepfather, Lloyd and Eleanor Spigler. They signed it. Well, if I'd left things alone, probably would have been all right, maybe. But anyhow, I talked to Ned about this. Not understanding the drainage, that the whole thing would have been taken in consideration. I wouldn't have had it done. We went back and amended it, added it in. When I took it back to them, they wouldn't sign it. Why won't you sign it? Lynn okayed this, well, on Lynn's recommendation, so I went and talked to him. He said, well, I told him not to. He said, yeah, you remember when you moved out here, it was in 73, it was 20 years before that. He said, I brought a drainage proposal to you, and they said you wouldn't sign it. And Lake Shears says, I'm standing right here, that did not happen. He fought me the rest of the way. Bob Legg was the president, owned an elevator in Unionville.
Uniondale, yeah.
Lynn was a big farmer, did business with him. Adrian Springer was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sold clothes, he didn't know anything about drainage, but he did everything that Bob Legg told him to do. Jesse, after 3.5 years we're going by with this whole process. Jesse Rogers made a motion to go ahead with it, and it died because of lack of a second. After 3.5 years and all the legwork, and Larry Owen was a county engineer, Tom France was the surveyor, everybody was on board, except we got to that meeting and it killed it.
So, we're here today. Can we pull any of those records to know exactly what it said? Are we asking basically to do identical to what
Well, so
some
back-
difference?
So I've got a preliminary question.
okay,
Are we talking about a private drain?
Yes.
Or a public drain?
private drain.
What jurisdiction does this board have
Why-
over a private drain that's
why would-
not connected to a public drain?
Currently, well, it is connected to a public drain, but currently we have no jurisdiction of that drain.
Okay,
What they did in, I think it started in 91, from what I could find in the records, until 94, was a petition to transfer from being a mutual or private drain to the drainage board to become a public drain.
got it.
That is what died because of a lack of a second
Okay.
to do that. So there was, and he's very accurate in what he's saying.
Actually, what died, because there was only one bid put on there, and it was 10% above what Larry Owen had
Engineer's estimate.
estimated.
And
So-
the record doesn't say that. Let me explain what the record says, and then you can fill in the gaps. So it said that there was a motion made by Mr. Legg to do it, or no, excuse me. There was a,
Mr. Rogers made the motion to do
okay,
it.
that's what I'm looking to see here. So Mr. Rogers made the motion to accept it as a county-regulated drain. That motion died for lack of a second. Then Mr. Legg moved that it be dismissed. That was seconded by Mr. Sprunger, and the proceedings were dismissed. That was in 1994. And then apparently you had brought back in July of 2003, it was brought back to see if they were okay with that petition again, with the same petition, or if it needed to be updated. The board at that time said that the contours of the land hadn't changed, all that, and it said that you were allowed to have your attorney to update the previously amended petition and return it to the surveyor's office.
That was later than 2003, because in 2012, that's when they did this. And they told me to talk to you, and when I walked in your office, you were negative from the word go, and when the next thing that happens is you got the U.S. Department of Agriculture out there and deemed it a wetland, and it's
think-
not a wetland.
I want you to understand, sir, I was not the county surveyor in 2003.
That's right, that's not when this happened.
That's what the records
I don't care
show.
what the record says.
Okay,
That didn't happen at that time.
now,
After this, what he's talking about, that happened after this.
okay, we don't have any record in the drainage board records of that happening. Now, I'm not going to swear that you didn't come into my office and ask me about it. my standard answer, whenever somebody has a area that's wet on a farm and they want to do some kind of drainage work, my standard answer is you might want to check with USDA first before we go any farther, because, just listen,
I'm listening.
because if you drain a wetland and you are in violation of the Swamp Buster Act, which is with the USDA, you're either going to lose all your farm government payments on it, or you're going to have to put it back. And so I don't like getting people into that situation. So that is usually my first recommendation to anybody. I don't call the USDA for you. Number one, they won't talk to me about one of your farms because of Federal Privacy
I
Act.
didn't call the USDA.
Okay, I don't know who did then. It wasn't me. I don't call the USDA. They won't talk to me about your farm anyway.
Well, regardless of what happened in the past, I know that they wanted, well, when Woodard and Bonham and, Plummer were, they were in the office then, and they're the ones that told me to go to the board. They okayed it. That's where it ended. As far as I'm concerned, right there. Regardless of what he says,
So Mr. Plummer
that
was,
stopped it.
Mr. Plummer was only a drainage board member for about 2 years after I started.
I
He was
don't
not
have
he
the,
was not a commissioner in 2017.
no, he was not.
So he couldn't have been on the board in that time.
In 2017?
Isn't that the date you said?
No.
You said 2017, or what date did you
No,
say?
2013.
Okay, Mr. Plummer was not a commissioner in 2013.
Maybe 2005 or 7, 8?
He would have been until the end of 2007.
I have a question, though. I mean, I know I'm not going to get in place with you, but the laws changed in 2021
Okay,
and 2024.
okay,
New laws come in regarding wetlands.
okay.
I submit.
This
that these are
group,
not-
this group has
this-
nothing to do with wetlands. I want you to understand that.
I'm submitting that these are not wetlands.
Okay,
There's no species other than, I don't know, they give me a whole list of stuff. They didn't specify anything, in my opinion, and my knowledge.
so when the USDA determined that was a wetland, did they give you a form that said that they had done a determination?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, and then at the bottom of that form, you have the right to appeal that. Did you appeal that?
No, I did not.
Okay,
When I talked to when they turned it down to begin with in 1994,
okay,
my attorney said, you have the right to appeal this, but generally what happens is if they dotted their i's and crossed their t's, that you're not going to win.
okay. And you're talking about with the drainage board
The
action?
drainage board action,
Okay.
yes, original.
Okay.
1994.
Okay,
And then Larry Owen contacted me later. Well, when that board with Woodard and Plummer, and they were gonna, Woodard had picked out Meridian Road. Now, this has nothing to do with drainage, but
Okay.
Meridian Road to Chip and Seal.
okay,
One guy, same guy, Lynn shut it down.
okay,
That's how I got 75 chip and sealed.
okay,
Now, prior to that, we'd have these flood waters, high waters that would wash over 75. And the county would come out and they would put more gravel on there until they put the chip and sealed, and it happened again, and they put their chip and sealed in the side ditch. Now the county's listening. And that's when Larry Owen contacted me, and I can't tell you what year it was.
okay,
But he come out there and he talked about what they did was cut through the abandoned railroad on the east side of 75. so water could get away, so it wouldn't wash over 75 east.
And I can't tell you what year it was. I can tell you it was prior to 2005. That's all I can tell you. That was already done when I took office,
You know, when did you take office?
2005.
2005?
Mm-hmm.
When I contacted you, when they told me to contact you,
Mm-hmm.
you were the surveyor.
Okay, so that would have been 2005 or after.
That's my point.
Okay,
Yeah, 2005, because that's when this USDA thing
okay,
happened.
okay. So I do have, do you farm your land, or do you have a tenant that farms
I
it?
have a tenant that farms it, yes.
Okay, so is there a chance that they contacted USDA to see about the wetland
No.
determination? Okay,
No, I'm sure they did not.
okay,
He's farmed my farm, well, Barry Fisher farms it.
okay,
And I can't even remember, but it was after that
okay,
time. Now, the reason I come tonight, I wanted to see if I could reclaim any farm ground, because I don't understand why that waterway is not a wetland.
okay,
I can't understand why the property from mine to the 100 East is not wetland. And from my property on the west to the Meridian Road is not wetland.
okay,
And
Is that rural
everything
section?
is, mine is in between, and it's wetland.
okay.
And I submit this bull.
So this board and myself, we do not do wetland determinations. The only people, there are two groups that can do a wetland determination. One is the Army Corps of Engineers, and one is the USDA. The USDA only does a wetland determination when it comes to compliance with the Food Security Act, so the Swamp Buster Act. They do wetland determinations for that purpose. Every other wetland is an Army Corps thing. Whether it's an isolated wetland, whether it's along a waterway, they are the only two agencies that can do a wetland determination. I'm not qualified to do a wetland determination if I wanted to. I do not have all the certifications to do that to the Army Corps specifications. So,
Who do I contact? Can I get a permit to get this changed? And if I do,
We-
if I
we
bring this
don't-
to this.
Not unless.
we don't issue permits
I
for
know
that
you
because we don't have a
No, no,
jurisdiction
I said,
over it.
who do I contact to get, how do I contact the Army Corps of Engineers?
So you, in that area, you would be in the Louisville district. So there's a field office in Indianapolis that you can get a hold of them. You will have to hire a consultant to actually do a wetland determination to their standards. They won't come out and actually physically do it themselves. You have to hire a consultant that is certified to do it. And then, I mean, that's the rules. I don't make the rules. That's the federal law.
Since this was done through the USDA, would he be better off getting a hold of them first?
So you could probably have them do another determination. And if it's different than your first one, or if you don't like the result, you can appeal that determination.
The laws has changed since then.
I don't know that the Swamp Buster Act has changed any. There are other laws that have changed with isolated wetlands within the state of Indiana, but that only affects projects with IDEM in Indiana. That doesn't affect your farm payments. That is a federal program, and that's a totally separate thing. Now, you can go through the Farm Service Agency and ask them to do another determination of it. But that's all you can do. I mean, like I say, we don't have any authority over wetlands. We have to follow the same rules and guidelines that you guys do as private landowners when we're doing a project.
If this would have been taken care of to begin with, we wouldn't even be here.
Once again, I was in college when that happened.
Yeah, that's out
so-
of your jurisdiction, but everybody was on board with this until,
And like I say, I don't know the whole story. All I know is what I can find in Drainage Board records of what happened. That's the only part of it that I know.
I got a question then. Is there any, I mean, if I want to reclaim that farm ground, that's on me. I gotta do it. There's no,
You gotta start with the USDA. and
no,
follow the
this,
process.
I'm not talking about wetlands. I'm talking about this waterway that's not a wetland. Why, I don't know, why they didn't determine that. It's not a wetland. So I can do what I want, but is there any cost sharing or anything available that I could get that reconstructed?
The drain is not a public drain. There is no maintenance fund. There's no anything to do that with. So it would be, you as the landowner would have to cover that.
What about the people that drain onto me?
You can always ask if they're willing to help you.
'Cause hold on.
That's the difference between a mutual drain, is that nobody's forced into paying. With a
You are
county
always
regulated drain,
allowed to protect your own property as long as it doesn't violate any laws. So if you have a wetland, you can always put a new drain within your own property. If it would benefit your neighbors, you can always seek for them to coordinate with you so the drains are beneficial for both properties. That would be a private mutual drain. That's up to you individual citizens, not the Drainage Board or the Board of Commissioners.
the only way that you really force people into helping pay for a drainage project is if it's a county regulated drain,
No.
and it's not. That's the only way you can force the issue.
I'm going to suggest that we need to move the meeting so we can contain and meet our schedule for 5 PM. Obviously, the citizen is entitled to speak with other people in the surveyor office as necessary outside of the board meeting.
Last item of business really quickly. We have the proposed.
Thank you, sir.
Meeting dates and times for 2026. They should align with the commissioner meetings throughout the year.
Need a motion to accept the schedule?
We would need a motion to accept this.
I'll move to accept the schedule as written.
Jeff's here, sorry.
Jeff seconded.
All in favor, aye?
We have to do a roll call vote.
Oh.
Mr. Stringer?
Yes.
Mr. Vanover?
Yes.
Mr. Gerber?
Yes.
3-0.
Having nothing else? Nate, anything for the Drainage Board? Mr. Tad?
Nothing. Yep.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Roll call again?
Mr. Stringer?
Yes.
Mr. Vanover?
Yes.
Mr. Gerber?
Yes.
We are adjourned.
Thank you, Jared.